ground ball outs, highest on the staff. We'll watch early how his ball is sinking. He's got a very good one if it's going down or into the righty. And singles club, how about this? 49 hits in the 30 and a third innings, 38 of them singles, only 11 extra base hits.
You don't even remember what a singles club is. You've been married so long. Stop it.
18 years.
Let's look at the game time weather conditions presented by Bigelow Tea. 68 degrees, humidity, it's high, obviously. 15 miles per hour is the wind, and there is a forecast of periods of rain. And hopefully they will play through the raindrops as they did last evening. 10 innings, Yankees won that one 5-2. So Joe Girardi was in a good mood before the game today, and why not? His team has 80 wins, the best record in baseball at 80-48. They have a 6-game lead over the Red Sox, and they're ready to roll here in Game 2 of this 3-game set. Scott Pasednik will dig in. Sergio Mitre is ready, and let's do it here at Yankee Stadium in the Bronx. And the pitch. It's up and away, 1-0, and we are underway. Well, you want to keep Pasednik off the bases. He's a threat to steal. Playing left field today, Carlos Quinton started yesterday at left. The 1-0. There's a strike, and the count 1-1. Now, Mitre's working with long rest, 8 days. The last time he pitched, his last start was on August 15th, so a couple of weeks ago. Now, you would think a guy who depends on the sinker, that might work against him. Joe Girardi talked about it before the game and said, I think that in this case it could help. He really pushed himself to get back from Tommy John surgery. Maybe a little extra rest will help him out. You know,
and as a sinker ball, you're right, Michael. Normally you don't want to be overpowered or have too much strength because you want that ball to have the action down in the zone like that.
IOTV offers you incredible HD picture and sound. HD is free with IOTV, the official HD service provider of Yankees baseball on Yes. And the 3-1. Mitre will make the play, and he will get Pasednik for the first out. Let's take a look at the Yankee defense in this afternoon's game. In the outfield, you've got Damon Hairston and Swisher. Now, Hairston's playing just because Melky Cabrera's played every single day, so it's Hairston's second start in center. In the infield, A-Rod, Jeter, Cano, and Teixeira. That's third to first. Molina behind the plate. Girardi wants to give Posada at least another day, and Mitre is on the mound. There's Jerry Hairston Jr. He has yet to play in a postseason game in a career that started in 1998. So he's hoping that that changes this season. Back up the swings and misses.
That's Jerry Hairston. That trade, Michael, excellent to have a versatile guy. He's been a middle infielder by his career coming up, but by having a guy that can play all the positions, so valuable.
The umpires today, you've got Jeff Kellogg behind the plate. Tim Timmons is at first. Mark Wegner at second, and Rick Reed over at third. The 1-1. 2-1. And Joe Girardi revealed today that Jerry Hairston is in fact his emergency catcher. Remember when he pinch ran in the 10th inning yesterday, they had to wait for him to come in from the bullpen, and the reason for that, they were warming up 2 pitchers, and they have 1 bullpen catcher out there. They used Jerry to warm up the other pitcher. The 2-1. Grounded softly and fouled toward third. Girardi said, you want to stay away from the third catcher, but if in fact an emergency crops up, it would be Jerry Hairston behind the plate.
Yeah, you see that often with the middle infielders. Anybody who's played kind of the utility guy, they'll try to see if a guy like a Jerry Hairston Jr. could do it. And obviously, it would be in a stretch of absolute emergency. You don't want to get a guy back there with no experience.
And the 2-2. Well, yesterday, Girardi had some decisions to make in the 9th inning. Jose Molina came up with 1 out, and Posada was on the bench. And Girardi did not pinch hit for Molina because Posada's left hand still hurting him. And then when Molina got the single, he didn't pinch run for him. And I asked him how tough a decision that was. He said it was pretty tough. He said, if we were trailing, I would have. He said, but in a tie game, I want to give Jorge as much time off as possible because he hasn't caught a baseball in a while. I didn't want to just put him in there in a game. And it worked out as the Yankees won 3-2. Grounded toward Alex Rodriguez. 2 outs.
So in addition to that, Michael, the fact that the Yankees have a nice little comfortable lead over the Red Sox 6 games into today's game, you know, I think Joe Girardi's able to make those decisions much easier. I know there was some mixing and matching with the bullpen yesterday as to whether he could have pushed Phil Hughes another inning, given Mariano 1 inning.
And there are the standings Al's talking about. Red Sox won last night again. The Rays look like they don't have much of a shot for the AL East, but they're certainly right in there for the wild card. They're 4.5 now behind the Red Sox. A.J. Prusinski fouls the bat.
Just thinking about how the year goes for all teams, but when the Yankees went to Chicago, they lost 3 of 4, and they were only a half a game up by the Red Sox, and then just took off. Had the great series here at the stadium, 4-game sweep of the Red Sox, and never looked back.
Well, since the All-Star break, the Yankees have gained 9 games on the Red Sox. Remember, the Yankees lost that 3-game set to the Angels going into the All-Star break. And during the break, they were 3 games out. Now they're 6 games up. The 0-2. Foul back, got a piece of Jeff Kellogg's right leg. Still 0-2.
And that's such the push, Michael. You mentioned since the All-Star break, since that Chicago series where they lost 3 or 4, half a game ahead of the Red Sox. It's not even 27 days ago, and they've gained 5.5 games.
Fly ball center field. Hairston came in, now drifts back, and he'll put it away for the final out of a 1-2-3 inning. Good inning for Sergio Mitre, and Hairston makes some friends, tossing the souvenir into the left center field bleachers. A little bit of a circuitous route for Hairston. White Sox don't score, and the New York Yankees come to the bat. To the Rangers, and the Yankees won the first game of this 3-game set. Let's take a look at the Yankee lineup. The captain, the shortstop, Derek Jeter, leads off. Batting second and playing left, Johnny Damon. Look what he's done in the last 4 games. Heating up his average up to 290. Mark Teixeira's at first, batting third. Cleaning up and playing third is Alex Rodriguez. Batting fifth and DH, Hideki Matsui. Nick Swisher's in right field, 1 for his last 20. We'll bat 6. Batting 7 and playing second base, Robinson Cano. Jerry Hairston Jr. is in center field. He's going to bat 8th, and batting 9th and catching is Jose Molina.
On the mound for the White Sox, Jose Contreras. Yankee fans remember him. He was here at 03-04. Not very good numbers for Jose. 5.09 ERA, pretty high, 111 innings. See the walks to inning strikeout. Let's take a look at the G pitcher scout report. Yankee drought. Well, he's in his last 5 starts against the Yankees since 06 through 08. He's lost every one of them. Lefties galore. He's only given up 1 home run to a lefty. It was David Jesus of Kansas City in 15 starts. And Mr. Splitty, he pitches off his split finger, and with the Yankees, with the 5 left-handers that they have, watch how his split finger is effective or not against these Yankee hitters.
Derek Jeter digs in. He let out the first inning yesterday with a home run. And the pitch is upstairs. There's some controversy about Don Cooper, the pitching coach for the White Sox, wants Contreras to go sidearm against righties a lot. But there's a prevailing thought that the more he does that, the more the righties catch on. There's a base hit for Jeter. Coming into that base hit, he was hitting 357 in the first inning. So this experiment about leading him off has been a resounding success.
Boy, what a year for Derek Jeter. Maybe MVP for the American League, not only for the Yankees to share, I'm sure, and others are in it. Fastball right down the middle, as you see, a nice grip of a 4-seamer. Contreras trying to get ahead here. Derek Jeter, normally you see that swing of right center up the middle, getting it through the third base hole.
Derek now 15 hits behind Lou Gehrig for the most hits in Yankee history. Lou with 27-21. Derek with 27-06 after that single. Pitches upstairs. Anyway, to continue about Contreras, I'm sure you've heard this as well, Al. Those that don't agree with him coming sidearm say that after the first time through, the righties pick that up right away and they just lean out over the plate. And if you look at his numbers, he has a 1.80 ERA in the first 2 innings. And from the third inning on, he has a 6.94. So something's happening after 2 innings.
Well, you know, whether somebody's picking up pitches or not, or as you say, drop it down with his fastball, you have to be consistent. I mean, that's consistency with any pitcher. And really, for Don Cooper, the pitching coach of the White Sox, it's just a matter of him seeing where Contreras' velocity is. There's Don Cooper. And the rule of thumb or the theory behind it is as the pitcher drops down, you get more movement or sink to the fastball.
Jeter goes. That one's driven to right and foul. Now, in the White Sox master plan, Contreras was never going to start again after they yanked him out of the rotation. He gave up a lot of unearned runs against the Red Sox his last start. And this start was supposed to be Jake Peavy's start, but it turned out that he wasn't ready, Al.
He wasn't. He had a Jake Peavy, great pitcher with the Padres Cy Young Award, who was able to come over. He was in a rehab start for their AAA team in Charlotte. Got hit with a line drive right on his elbow. They had anticipated for him to be ready, assuming that went through.
That one is chopped up the middle, just over the bag. There's a drop, and everybody's safe. Now, I thought that Jeter was out because it looked like Nixon picked the ball up. But they're saying that Jeter is going to be safe, and so is Damon. So that's an error on the second baseman, Nix, and Ozzie Guillen will go out and argue. Mark Wegner is the second baseman. Let's take a look at this, because obviously they kill the double play with the drop, but if you see, he'll pick it up before Derek got there.
Well, he's got to have control for a period of time to show possession to the transfer from the glove to the hand. This would be a good shot here.
The IOTV HD super shot. Okay, so he's safe at that point. But then he picks it up before Derek's foot goes on the bag, and Ramirez is making the call. But Mark Wegner did not agree. Like Wegner, the second base umpire, actually blew that call.
From the looks of what Ramirez is saying, he's saying it was on the flip transfer, but that was a great replay there. Wagner wasn't aware of where the foot was when he picked up the ball on the ground.
Yeah, because they're arguing the wrong thing. They're saying that he dropped it on the transfer. He did not. But you see, he's got control of it before Jeter's foot gets to the bag, and Wegner made a bad call. And Ramirez is arguing, no, he dropped it, transferring the ball to his hand, and that's not the case. So it's a fielder's choice and an E4. And the Yankees are set up first and second, nobody out. Here's Teixeira. And there's a strike. .97 ribbies for Mark, and that leads the American League. Count 1-1.
So the series in Chicago, Jason Nix was playing shortstop. Alexi Ramirez was hurt. Chris Getz was their second baseman. He's been a utility player, mixing between short and second.
Count 1-2. Teixeira has 11 hits in his last 33 at bats. And he gets Mark Teixeira on that changeup sort of splitter.
Nasty.
One away.
I mentioned he's tougher to hit. The left-handed batters have a lower batting average. Just pounding the strike zone early, gets a little backdoor slider, corner, gets the pitch there. Nasty split. See the bottom drop out of it. That's what makes Jose Contreras very tough for the left-handers, especially. As you see Teixeira just waving at that ball. It looks like a fastball out of his hand. It's been his pitch.
Here's Alex Rodriguez. And a strike from Contreras. Yankees have the best record in baseball at home. They're 43-20. And they are 17-4 in their last 21 at home. Alex 12 hits in his last 37 at bats. fouled that. And he has the average up to 267. Now, he's not going to have his usual numbers at the end of the year, 40-plus home runs, 120 ribbies. And he's been a work in progress all year, missing the first 28 games after having the hip surgery and then having to rest at least once a week. So he will not have those A-Rod type numbers, but he has been valuable in the protection he provides for Mark Teixeira.
Boy, you said it. I mean, just from when he came back, Teixeira, remember early on, was struggling offensively. And just to have, even if he's not right or as consistent, last night we thought he hit a home run to left field. The wind was blowing in. But he is, you're right, Michael, tremendous protection for any player, and certainly has helped Teixeira in front of him.
Just underway here at the stadium, bottom of the first inning. We're so glad that you could join us on not exactly a great day in New York. The lights are on here at the stadium. They've been from the very first pitch. No sun. Overcast. Cloudy. Jeter's at second, and Damon is at first. The 1-2. He gets Alex Rodriguez chasing to the second out.
Well, he shook off Przinsky there, Contreras did. And his last start, you mentioned, Michael, he had a lot of unearned runs. He only went 2 2/3, 7 runs, 1 was earned. And him and Przinsky was pretty vocal about how ineffective Contreras was in and out. Just really worked him both sides of the plate. From that last swing there, Alex looked like he was looking for something inside, just a four-seam fastball coming at him. Wave hack, you saw Alex was kind of spent.
Count 1-0 to Matsui. On his last start, he threw 83 pitches in 2 2/3 innings. 7 runs, 1 earned, 4 hits, and the 6 unearned runs were because of Contreras. He made an error on a David Ortiz grounder to first base. Inexplicably picked up the ball, dropped it, picked it up and dropped it again. And Ortiz, who had swung on a 3-0 pitch, reached first. And then the gates opened up and all the runs started to score. But that would have been the final out of the inning. Count 1-2.
You know, there's frustration amongst they have the second, the White Sox do the second best ERA in the American League, and it's really due to a lot of their front 2 or 3 starters. Burley, who pitched yesterday, has struggled, although he was good yesterday. Gavin Floyd, John Danks, and Burley. But Contreras is frustrated that the White Sox, thinking that he should be more consistent than he's been.
A nice block by Przinsky.
And after that start, Michael, Przinsky was very, very candid with, why Contreras wasn't effective. And he just basically, as a scout would say, he didn't have a slider, wasn't throwing strikes, the split wasn't working. And there's Ozzie Guillen, the manager. He's known for just speaking what's on his mind.
Two-two. Last night's loss dropped the White Sox 1 game under 500, 5 behind the Tigers. Tigers beat Tampa Bay last night. Minnesota's now moved ahead of Chicago in the Central, which wins 4.5 games behind Detroit. The 2-2. Still 2-2.
Boy, when you hear people talk about, a stretch during the season, there you see the Central. This is it for the White Sox. They started the series. The road trip in Boston didn't do well, lost 3-4, and now here with the Yankees. Then they go to Minnesota, which has been a big nemesis, especially up in Minneapolis. This is going to tell a lot about what's going to happen with the White Sox push in the Central this road trip.
They can't solve the Twins in Minneapolis. They just can't. It's almost become a running joke. Now the count is full, so that releases Jeter and Damon with a 3-2 and 2 outs. Nick Swisher's on deck. Given out to left center field, but Pasednik is there and will make the play for the final out of the first. No runs a hit, 1 error, and 2 men left. We played 1 at the stadium. There's no score between the Yankees and the White Sox. New York Yankees and Lincoln Hospital strike out childhood diseases. Get your child vaccinated on Thursday, September 3rd from 10 a.m. till 3 p.m. at Yankee Stadium's Banquet and Conference Center. Please enter at Gate 6. Call 718-579-5777 for more information. Hot dog, potato chips, burger. Perfect way to enjoy a game. Paul Konerko leads off against Sergio Mitre. There's a strike. Mitre, in his short docket of work with the Yankees, has shown that he struggles against left-handed batters. They hit .485 against him. Righties hit .250 against him. And if you're going to start, you're going to face left-handers. That one is punched out toward right field. Coming on, Nick Swisher. Wow.
And because of that, Michael, now they're two ends of the spectrum here with Contreras for the White Sox and Mitre. What it makes it tough for a right-handed pitcher against a left-handed batter is something off speed that goes away from him. Sergio Mitre's got a very good sinker when he's on and a slider, as we just saw there with the fly out to Konerko. That's a combination for right-handers. He needs that little consistent changeup of some sort that goes down away from the lefty, and he hasn't thrown it effectively enough for the left-handers to honor it.
Jim Thome dribbles one towards short. Hustling down the line, and Jeter gets him. Let's take a look at tomorrow's starting pitchers, brought to you by Verizon Fios. This is Fios. This is big. Freddie Garcia will get the start for the White Sox, 0-1, 6.75 against Jabba Chamberlain, working on normal rest, 8-4, 4.34. And our coverage will begin at noon right here on Yes with the batting practice show. And then 12:30 is the pregame show, and 107, 108 will be first pitch for Joe Girardi and his Yankees. Here's Jermaine Dye. You see that Mitre works off the extreme first base side of the rubber. And there's a strike.
Mentioned about him on the left side. Now his sinking fastball is going to go into the righty, so you want the effect of that. It looks like a strike longer over the the plane of the path or to home plate. A pitcher's rubber about 24 inches. You'll see a lot of pitchers, Michael, that'll, depending upon their style of pitching, where they would stand on the pitcher's rubber. Very common for a sinker ball to be closer to first base so that the ball has the illusion that it's over the plate longer.
Like that.
Yeah, well, that was a little slider. Good pitch there. It was out of the hand. Now, if he could, pitcher could utilize that angle. If he's coming out of here and the ball's going to be ricocheting toward the right hander, you want it to look like it's a strike longer.
Does that affect, though? That could be the negative effect then against lefties because he's on that side of the rubber. Maybe that's why he's not getting out lefties.
Well, that mostly because of whether his sinker's up. Now, when he throws that ball, that ball was coming down about here. Remember Ron Guidry played with Gator a little bit. He used to move. Now it's a little different because the mounds are much more manicured and painted. And the pitchers of the old days, they used to cover it up and they would slide based on where they were going to throw the ball.
Really?
Gator used to do that often. He could go on the middle, left, or right, depending upon where the location he wanted. And it was interesting because most guys want to be in the same spot on the mound because then this area here gets all torn up with where the landing foot is. But Gator, if he was going to throw his slider, he'd go a little further to the third base side. His fastball, he'd move to center or the first base side.
And he would cover it with dirt so that the batter couldn't see.
That's right, yeah. Because if they see you moving, they'll pick that up quickly.
3-2. Did you ever do that, or did you stay on one part of the road?
I stayed on one part, mostly because I was a cut fastball guy, and I needed the illusion, the opposite of what Sergio Mitre. I also was on the first base side, but I came out so far I wanted the ball to look like it was going to stay on the plate because I threw one in so much that I needed that 24 inches more to the first base side.
3-2. Swung on it, missed. And he strikes out Dye for the final out of a 1-2-3 inning, and he did it in 11 pitches. It's been 6 up, 6 down for Mitre here at the stadium. Good pitch there to Dye. We go to the bottom of the second. There's no score. Scott Kazmir's trade to the Angels means the Rays have given up on their season. You can text your vote to 58772. Standard text messaging rates apply. It's easy. 1 yes or 2 no. And this deal certainly is going to be widely discussed in Major League Baseball. Because as I mentioned earlier, the Rays are just 4.5 games out of a wild card spot. You can't responsibly give up on your season when you're that close to a postseason berth. Pitch is high to Nick Swisher. Now they got a couple of minor leaguers. Alexander Torres, by the way, is a 21-year-old lefty who has pretty good numbers so far this year. He reached Double-A, and Matthew Sweeney is a third baseman, also 21 years old. Al, you were a former teammate with Kazmir. Did this surprise you at all?
It did a little, but you're right. It's not just a regular salary dump, I guess, as you would think that what happened with Alex Rios in Toronto, where no one in Toronto was out of it. They are 4.5 games back, Tampa. And looking at the ERA, Kazmir has struggled, and he also has had off and on elbow trouble. I'd say it's chronic, but I know even there was some concern when he was a minor leaguer with the Mets. Maybe the Tampa Bay
base hit for Swisher
had considered that this may happen in the winter. Maybe, who knows? It's really about looking into their minor leagues. Maybe there's some hotshot pitcher that they really like that they've been holding off to bring up. I'm not saying that he's going to immediately replace what Scott Kazmir potentially could do, but at a 5.92 ERA, almost 6. And if they know more of his history and they thought this was the best they can do getting these prospects, there's definitely also the salary dump aspect of it.
Well, here's the salary aspect of it. He makes $8 million next year and then $12 million a year after that. So he's working on the first year of a 3-year deal that he'd signed with Tampa Bay. And Tampa Bay has some big, tough financial decisions they have to make for next year. There's big rumors that they're going to have to trade Carl Crawford because he'll be a free agent at the end of next year. They don't think they'll be able to afford it. They're going to have to pay guys like Ben Zobrist. Their pitchers are going to be arbitration eligible. They're going to have to pay them. They have a limited amount of money that they can spend on payroll. So I think that they're rolling the dice with Kazmir, getting rid of that $20 million that they have to pay him, and they're going to try to spread it out in other places. It's a tough call. Now, Kazmir against the Yankees, 6-4, 2.53 in his career, and against the Red Sox, 8-7 with a 3.59. So Kazmir now joins a rotation. Now, the Angels have a good record, but their starters have a very high ERA. They've been hurt by injuries and tragedy as well, the death of Nick Adenhart. And somehow Mike Scioscia has squeezed another good season out of his team. This is a good deal for them if he could stay healthy. Cano lost one to left field. Diving try by Pasenic. He can't get it, and it gets past him. Nick Swisher will go to third, and Cano picks himself up a double.
Robinson Cano getting this sinker down and away. Scott Pasenic making nice effort there, just out of the, looked like it nicked the end of his glove. Good try, was able to knock it down enough so that the ball didn't scoot too far past him, possibly scoring Nick Swisher. Good effort by Pasenic. Sinker didn't get out of the box quickly enough. I guess it's kind of moot now that Nick Swisher wasn't able to score for his 37th double of the year.
Well, here's Jerry Hairston Jr. with the runners on second and third. Nobody out. They're in at the corners. They're back at short and second. Jerry Hairston Sr. was a player for the White Sox, so Jerry was around this team a lot as a kid. That caught the bat of Hairston, so it's a strike. Now, Hairston and his brother Scott. Scott's a little bit younger than Jerry, have never played in the postseason. Scott came the closest a couple of years ago with San Diego, actually hit a home run to put the Padres up. And then Trevor Hoffman blew a 3-run lead in the 163rd game. It was a tie between the Rockies and the Padres. So Hairston looks like he's going to get to the playoffs this year if things continue to go the way they have for the Yankees. And Scott's with the A's, so he's not going to go in the playoffs.
No, and once you become Scott Hairston's been around for a long time. It is something you yearn for, and obviously any chance any player gets an opportunity to play with the New York Yankees, you have a very good chance of playing postseason, and that's where every player wants to be.
Driven down the right field line, but it slices foul. I thought that Jerry Hairston had a very good line. He said, "You know what? When people root for the Yankees and you're on the Yankees, part of the history is that they go to the playoffs all the time and they won 26 World Championships." He said, but what fans don't realize and what other players don't realize, or the ones that are here, it's so hard to get there. He said all teams, all they think about is getting there. He said here it's like accepted, but everywhere else, he said, boy, I know how hard it is. And those numbers tell you exactly how often the Yankees get there. 2-2. Foul back.
Well, for the first time, Derek Jeter his whole entire career, he didn't know what it was like. You're exactly right. There are a lot of for Derek Jeter and Mariano and Posada, the guys that have been the core part of this run since '95, it's been quite the years. But most players don't get to enjoy it. Obviously, only 4 teams per league.
2-2. Driven out into right center field. That is going to be trouble. It'll go to the wall. 2 runners will score. Hairston picks up a big 2-run double, and the Yankees have a 2-0 lead.
Nice hitting by Jerry Hairston. You see that fork ball tumbling up in the zone. This is nice hitting. A velocity taking a lot off. It almost had a knuckleball spin. Look at the grip right there. This is a fork ball grip. He throws a split finger, but when he really jams it, his fingers in there, the ball has that knuckleball. See the barely rotation. Now the good hitting, he stays on this ball. It's be easy for Hairston to pull off of it. Instead, he drives it to right center field. Nice approach.
Here's Jose Molina, squares the bunt, takes high. The Yankees are 52-16, incidentally, when they score first. And they've scored first in each of their last 6 games, 2 of which they lost. Count 1-1. Molina in there for another day as Girardi's trying to get Posada as much rest as he can. 39 pitches for Contreras because of that bad left hand. Trying to keep him out of the lineup. Posada wants to play, pestering Girardi to play, but they're thinking long haul. Now, in order to get the hand completely healthy, they'd have to set him down for about 3 weeks. They're not going to do that, but they want to get as much pain out of it as possible. 3-1, and Molina walks. So Contreras starting to struggle here in the second. That brings Jeter up with runners on first and second. Still nobody out. Told you Gehrig got a single in the first inning, moves him to within 15 of tying the Iron Horse, Lou Gehrig, for the most hits all time for the Yankees. And it's really one of the things that people raise their eyebrows about, because the Yankees, we told you about the 26 championships, they've never had a guy get 3,000 hits. Gehrig stays healthy. A couple of years from now, he's going to be the first guy to ever do it. But the next stop is beating out Lou Gehrig. And Jeter lays down a bunt. It's a sacrifice, and that moves the runners up. Gehrig does that a lot, Al, and I'll tell you what, he's hitting .330. The Yankees are up 2-0, and I'm sure that wasn't called from the bench. I don't get it. I don't get it. I want him swinging the bat every single time he's up there. Why is he running? It's the second inning.
Well, you make a good point, but I think also, too, Michael, based on it being the leadoff batter, there are times, and maybe this is going to sound like I'm kind of siding here with what Derek just did, but this is an element of a leadoff hitter that he has to have. And if this is, as the playoff or season winds down, you need him to be able to bunt or sacrifice or move a runner up. I know what you're saying. He is as hot as anybody in the American League in hitting, but this is also another aspect of his game. This is a small ball in-game situation that he's able to execute. Just another dimension.
And I hear what you're saying, but I look at the fact the guy's having an MVP-type season in a ballpark that plays small to right field where he hits. I don't need him bunting in the second inning, but I'm almost certain, and we'll find out. Kim will ask Joe on the postgame show. There's no way that Joe Girardi asked him to sacrifice. That was definitely all on Derek. Yeah. Something he chose to do. But it does bring the infield in, as we mentioned. 1-1 count on Dingman. Damon, a .322 hitter this year with runners in scoring position. Incidentally, that's only Derek's second sacrifice bunt this year. Hairston is on third, Molina at second. Line drive, base hit to right center field. Hairston scores. Molina rounds third. He'll score. Damon's going for two. He's in there with a two-run double. And the Yankees lead 4-0.
Well, I know that sacrifice bunt putting Molina at second base is a little backdoor slider from Contreras. Nice piece of hitting, getting the barrel of the bat on it, down in the zone. Johnny Damon smokes this ball to right center field. Good element overall, moving the runner. Johnny Damon getting a pitch that he's able to drive to right field. Nice offensive.
Mark Teixeira with a line drive to right field for the second out. That's going to bring up Alex Rodriguez, who struck out in the first inning. The two ribbies for Damon now give him 71 on the season. This is his first multi-RBI game since August 5th, and this is August 29th. Batting coach Kevin Long feeling good about the way his team has been swinging the bat.
Well, little aspects and elements of the offense. You want to see a complete offense, and certainly the Yankees are as close to that in baseball.
Hot shot to third, grabbed nicely by Beckham across the diamond, and that's going to do it. But the Yankees take the lead. 4 runs on 4 hits. Big hits. A 2-run double by Jerry Hairston Jr. To make it doubly good, a 2-run double by Johnny Damon. It's 4-0 Yanks. As the Yankees charge toward the playoffs, you'll never miss a game again now that you can watch live Yes Network Yankee games on your PCs and laptops. If you're a Verizon Fios TV customer with Fios Internet who watches Yes, log on to YesNetwork.com, Yankees.com, or Verizon.net/Yes to get more information and sign up for your subscription now. Alex Rios leads off against Sergio Mitre and now has a 4-0 lead, as you see there on the Modell's scoreboard. Modell's is the official sporting goods retailer of the New York Yankees. There's a strike.
Touching on the salary purge of what's going on with Toronto, basically giving away Alex Rios to the White Sox. Not really lived up to his expectations coming over to the White Sox. He's only batting .204, but here's a guy that for several years he's done well against the Yankees, but they've been waiting for this five-tool player to emerge and just has not been consistent enough.
Popped up. Nick Swisher makes the play. Well, Rios was claimed on waivers on August 10th, and I'll tell you, Al, that whole deal left a really bad taste in my mouth because it wasn't just a salary dump. This guy was signed for 4 more years. It's a 2-time All-Star, and that just shows you that there should not be deals that are made, unless you're a free agent, deals that are made strictly because of money, and that's exactly what happened. J.P. Ricciardi said it wasn't a salary dump. You know, it gives them financial flexibility, which is a nice way of saying it was a salary dump.
Why? If another team thinks that their hitting coach or organization or manager, whatever the different philosophy, goes on to a new place, and they're willing to take it. Why not?
I get it. No, I understand why the White Sox did it. I just don't like the fact that the Blue Jays gave up a young player, a 2-time All-Star, just because he was making too much money. Now, he hasn't performed up to their expectations, but they're willing to give away Vernon Wells, too. Just give him away. And that's not the way baseball should be conducted.
But if someone, I know where you're going, and I agree to an extent. But if another team finds value in that player, and you could free up that $50 million or whatever was going to be allocated over the next several years for an Alex Rios, or you mentioned Vernon Wells, now they can go and get somebody else. And for whatever reason, maybe at the time it seemed like it made a lot of sense to sign and lock up these guys. The Blue Jays trying to make a push, show their fan base, and it didn't work out. So now they have the money to go get somebody else.
But also, what you're admitting to them, we made a terrible mistake. All the money we put into bringing this guy through the minor leagues, the development of him, they just gave him away. Just gave him away. You couldn't make a trade for Alex Rios. They could have traded him out if they wanted to take back some of the money and get back good players. They got back 0 for their starting right fielder. 0. Check swing. Did he go? Yes, he did, said Tim Timmons, and Ramirez down on strikes. 8 in a row for Mitre.
Well, there's a few check swings last night. Let's see. Oh, yes. That was pretty obvious even from that angle. Jeff Kellogg getting a little help from Tim Timmons. Oh, yeah. I know, Alexi, you're upset about that, but that was almost a full swing. He did a double with that.
Well, he shows his disgust, and I'll just tell you what. Shane Victorino threw up his hands in center field 300 feet away and got thrown out of the game. Count 1-0. Victorino, the center fielder for the Philadelphia Phillies.
And Rapuano, a long-time umpire, was the home plate umpire.
High fly ball center field. Hairston is there, and he puts it away. And how about Sergio Mitre? A perfect 3 innings. 9 up, 9 down. And in the third, he did it on just 11 pitches. We go to the bottom of the third. 4-0 Yanks. Now the first national sub shop to offer pretzel bread. Try the new turkey bacon cheddar on grilled pretzel bread, or pair any Blimpie sub with this craveable new bread option. We go to the bottom of the third. Let's get out some pretzel bread.
Sounds good.
Modell's scoreboard, it's 4-0. Modell's the official sporting goods retailer of the Yankees. Contreras deals high. 1-0. Contreras has actually contributed to a nickname that's been given to the Yankee organization. And at the time that it was given to the Yankee organization, it was thought of as a real negative, a real diss. And what it comes down to is that Contreras escaped from Cuba, and the Yankees and the Red Sox were both bidding on him. And the Red Sox felt they had him, and they really, really wanted him, and the Yankees swooped in and got him. And Larry Lucchino, one of the owners of the Red Sox, said the evil empire wins again. And now there are T-shirts calling the Yankees evil empire. The fans love the fact that they're considered the evil empire, but it was because of Jose Contreras that derogatory nickname at the time came about. There's a ground ball at first. Konerko's there. 1 away. The Red Sox wanted him so badly that they actually rented out all the hotel rooms in the hotel where he was staying with his agent, not thinking that the Yankees could get in and have a meeting with him. But the Yankees did get through and ended up getting Contreras, who had okay seasons with them, but he never lived up to the level that they thought he was going to be, and they ended up trading him to the White Sox in 04. And there's, I don't know if it's an urban legend, but at the time, Theo Epstein, the GM of the Red Sox, supposedly threw a chair through a window when he found out that the Yankees had signed Contreras. That one's driven out to left field. Posednik is there. 2 outs.
Well, obviously, I think it's fun. I mean, to have the whole, obviously, the deep-rooted rivalry between the Red Sox, best in all sports, Red Sox Yankees, and to have this semantics going on and the evil empire and all that, it just makes it that much more exciting. But I think internally, how many other players that end up signing, especially the international players via free agent, that particular teams who push and want the same player don't get him, and certainly isn't quoted or back page.
There's a strike to Cano.
Could think of Matsuzaka, his signing. I wonder how many teams really tried to push as apparently the Red Sox did with Contreras. I'm sure there's so many more that general managers can all sit around and commiserate or celebrate. Contreras, as you mentioned, he was here 03, part 04, traded for Esteban Loaiza.
That's what he did with the Yankees, 15-7. There's so much talk how much better the American League is than the National League, and the general feeling in baseball is it's because of the Yankees.
This is a very good split by Harrison. Ended up hitting Jerry Harrison. Hit that ball, but that ball, you see the tumble, and I think that's the pitch that makes him so tough against left-handers.
Hot shot and past the diving Knicks. Another base hit for Cano. He's 2 for 2 following his walk-off 3-run home run in the 10th inning last night.
He gets that great split and now comes back. You can see where Brzezinski wanted that fastball. He wanted it up in the zone after that tumbling split finger. Just didn't get in his location. Robbie getting a pitch that he likes to drive past the outstretched Knicks.
Here's Jerry Hairston. Anyway, to finish that point about why the American League is better, because the Yankees are so willing to go out and get players and have the money to spend for scouting and international players, that everybody in the American League has to play catch-up, and they have better rosters than National League. Now, obviously, the DH is a factor and things like that, but you look interleague play and you look in the All-Star game, and the American League just has better players. And you see a guy like Cliff Lee, now, who won the Cy Young Award last year, and he's been great, but he goes over to the Phillies, he's almost unhittable. American League pitchers going to the National League, they dominate. They just look at CC Sabathia last year, and look at Smoltz this year. Another good game for him yesterday against the. Let's see. They were pitching for the Cardinals, I believe.
Well, no,
it was the Nationals.
Yeah, he had two good matchups, Michael, the Padres and the Nationals.
But still, his breaking ball had nasty breakthrough, and National League team is going after Brad Penny now, hoping the same thing happens.
No doubt. There's definitely, it's easier. Having pitched in both, I've always figured about 3/4 of a run. Whatever American League ERA is, you can knock off about 3/4 of a run, on average. What also has happened there with Dave Duncan, the pitching coach of the Cardinals, they found out he was giving up some pitches or tipping pitches, changed his delivery a little bit, and it helped.
And Hairston works a walk. So all with 2 outs now, first and second for Jose Molina.
That's that whole change of scenery. Don Cooper, the pitching coach, where you get a player that struggled, but you still like his stuff scouting-wise. You say, hey, you know what? If we can get our guy to work with him, we see a little something in his delivery or some kind of mechanical change that we can do, maybe we can get him back on track.
There's a strike. You buy into all of this, how valuable Dave Duncan is. What does Dave Duncan do that just turns people on? He's done it with Joel Pinheiro. He's turned Chris Carpenter into a Cy Young winner.
Makes a pitcher believe. I think Michael, it has a lot to do with guys believing in who they are and what their stuff is. And yeah, I do believe it. Dave Duncan has the manager has his back, vice versa, and Tony La Russa, and he's that good. Having played with a few guys that had him, Woody Williams, I know I played with Toronto, Todd Stottlemyre, they just say the guy is very poignant. He gets his point across in a very simple way, and he finds nuances in a delivery. He changed a little flaw that he saw that Smoltz was tipping pitches. He was doing a little something with his glove overhead and showing his split changeup grip, his split finger, and changed it. Just a little modification, and all it takes, Michael, is a pitcher to believe in what the guy's selling.
He's worked wonders throughout the years. Dave Stewart, Dennis Eckersley, slow ground ball at third, and Molina is gunned down by Beckham for the final out of the third inning. No runs are hit, no errors, and 2 men left on base. We go to the 4th inning. It's all Yankees, 4-0 over the Sox. The White Sox in their career. Prior to Cano, who was the last Yankee to hit a walk-off home run against Chicago? I don't know, but we'll find out, all of us together.
I look forward to that one.
Cano sent everybody home. And did you notice, Al, when you got in your car, how it just started pouring?
I was going to say how wet it was running to the car.
We would still be in a rain delay right now if he didn't hit that home run, because the skies just opened up. Pitch to Posednik is a strike.
What a job Scott Posednik has done for the White Sox. He came over after spring training. The Colorado Rockies released him, and a lot of guys, coaches included around this team, said he's brought a different element. This is a base-to-base team. He's stolen bases along with Chris Getz, and they don't have a whole lot of fast guys. Getz has got 18, and Posednik with 22. He's been caught 9 times. But just the mindset of a guy like this, trying to get a little more base movement, and admittingly so, the White Sox have some cloggers in the middle of the lineup.
Well, he really jumps around in the box, Al. You see he's like dancing his feet, and you never see batters do that unless they're running up to do a butcher boy. But he's done that twice now against Mitre, where he's jumping forward before he even swings the bat.
And the idea, he's trying to catch the sinker in front of the plate, and I've watched him take batting practice, and he does it in BP too, so this isn't some little trick thing he's trying right now.
Fly ball left field, Heyman. 10 in a row for Mitre. Well, there's a shot of the Mohegan Sun Sports Bar, situated in center field at the new Yankee Stadium. The Mohegan Sun Sports Bar is a great place to gather and enjoy the game. Mohegan Sun, a world of play. Lights on here at the stadium on an overcast Saturday afternoon. Here's Gordon Beckham. And that one's chopped off the mound. Nice hop there for Cano, 2-away.
Mitre getting the ground ball, sinker working. He's got nice little depth to his slider. Aggressive swinging right now. Beckham first pitch swinging, getting into these counts to where he's able to utilize that sinker down in the zone. We mentioned about what Posednik was trying to do. They see when the lineup sees the effectiveness of a pitcher. Right now, Mitre is locked in. They're going to try to take something away from him, which would be his sinker. Don't agree with what Posednik did, but he moved up, and moving in the box isn't the best thing to do.
There's a strike to Brzezinski. Well, Mitre's working quickly, so fielders don't get bored. They're all into the game, and he's throwing strikes.
And a lot of ground balls. So at the beginning, 62% of his outs, the highest on the Yankees staff, has been ground ball outs.
But today, out of 11 outs, 5 of them have been in the air. 2 strikeouts and 4 ground balls. Brzezinski with a fly ball to center to end the first. Ground ball, Alex Rodriguez. And Mitre's pitching a perfect game through 4 and 8 pitch. 1-2-3. 4th inning. We go to the bottom of the 4th. Yankees lead 4-0 over the White Sox. Off home runs against the Sox prior to Cano, who was the last Yankee to hit a walk-off home run against the White Sox. The answer is Don Baylor, back in 1985. Baylor now a coach with the Rockies. Derek Jeter lost one to center field, hit some base hit. So Derek's 2 for 2. And that's why I don't want him to bunt out.
Yeah, you know what, Rod, you can, I guess, argue that point. Derek Jeter's is just so locked in, and watching him swing, he had hit to home run yesterday, driving that ball to right center field. He's got coverage on both sides, and you know, when he's feeling the way he is right now, it's just the ball looks like a beach ball. Doesn't matter his approach, who's on the mound. He's got left center to right center. Good spot for Derek Jeter.
Now he's 14 away from Lou Gehrig's mark as Damon rips one foul. 2 hits for Jeter, 53rd time he's had a multi-hit game this year.
Would you ever want him to bunt them?
Yeah, in certain spots, but you know, not when he's this high.
Late in the game, tie ball game.
Yeah, something like that. But still, you know, he's a leadoff batter, but he's a leadoff batter because that's where he's batting. But I've always said that Derek Jeter could bat anywhere in the lineup. He could bat third. He could be a cleanup hitter that doesn't a lot of home runs, but he's going to drive in 110 runs if he batted cleanup. So there's not many times I want him to bunt. He goes with the pitch, the throw, not in time. Strong base.
Another aspect of Derek Jeter's game. This is his 23rd stolen base. Aggressive. He's only been caught 5 times. You talk about the element of Derek Jeter, and every aspect of his game. He's on a career low pace as a shortstop in errors. 23 stolen bases now. You know, as you mentioned, Michael, wherever in the lineup, I agree. I think he would adjust accordingly as to how he's supposed to hit in that lineup position in the lineup.
He's a great player who actually has notched his game up a bit this year because he worked hard during the offseason. He had an October off for the first time in his career, and he's come back. He's played great defense. He's been unbelievable at the plate, and he is going to be in the MVP discussion. Right back to Contreras, and he throws it to backing up his Knicks, and he throws it away, and Jeter's at third. A lot of stuff went on there. All of it bad for the White Sox. What a backup by Knicks, though. That ball should have been in center field as Contreras threw it past Ramirez. And then Knicks tried to get Jeter going to third, and that didn't work.
Jeter trying to make sure that this ball is away from Contreras. Obviously, the angle there, just a bad throw by Jose Contreras. And Derek Jeter and the Yankees lucky for that. Beckham holding that ball. I guess from Derek's angle, he thought that ball was further toward Knicks, the second baseman. That would have been a base running mistake, but for Derek Jeter's sake, Contreras could not make a good throw to second base.
Well, we have an E1 and an E4 and a fielder's choice. So that's how you score that. And that's 3 errors today for the White Sox. Infield in for Teixeira. There's a strike. DJ Carrasco begins to throw. 4-0 Yankees looking for more. Oh boy, he has certainly had Mark Teixeira off balance. Teixeira's 0 for 3 with 2 strikeouts against Contreras.
Teixeira got this pitch in his first at bat and had the same. Look at the tumbling action. It's a very good pitch. Almost knuckleball like, limited rotation, waving out in front, similar to his first AB where he struck out. Tough pitch.
Alex is 0 for 2 today. Struck out in the first, grounded to third in the second. Infield still in. Hot shot, base hit to left field. Scoring is Jeter. Damon rounds third to hold him up as Pasetnik comes up throwing. An RBI single for Alex Rodriguez, and the Yankees lead 5-0.
A-Rod jumping on this first pitch fastball. Good hitting. Looked like about knee high. Run it in on him. being able to get that ball, a barrel of bat, nice swing, head down on the baseball. 69th RBI of the year. See the secondary lead, big enough lead for Damon. Sednick, left fielder, usually not the strong arm outfield position. Conservative play right there.
So Jeter with another run scored. Infield backs up the double play depth for Matsui. Grounded past the diving Konerko and down the right field line. Damon scores. Alex Rodriguez goes to third. The throw gets away down the right field line, but Nix is there to pick it up. So it's an RBI double for Matsui, and the Yankees now lead 6-0.
Just jumping early. This ball inside. Nice again. Look at the way Hideki Matsui pulls his hands in. Konerko playing up close off the bag, but he was in front of first base, not allowing him to have a greater angle. See Dye falling down. Quick flip throw. Nick's able to get the ball. He just got underneath it too far, too aggressively. He was able to immediately get that ball out of his hand, or Alex Rodriguez may have been able to score.
And Ozzie Guillen's seen enough. He is going to signal for DJ Carrasco. So Contreras in an emergency start because Jake Peavy was not ready to go because of the injury earlier in the week. He doesn't even last 4 innings. He goes 3 1/3. The 2 runners on base, his responsibility. DJ Carrasco will try his own brand of music next. The official hybrid vehicle of the New York Yankees. Well, Ozzie Guillen has to make the call to the bullpen. Brought to you by AT&T, your world delivered. DJ Carrasco, his 42nd game, 4-1, 3.66. Numbers not bad, and he'll try to stop the bleeding here as the Yankees are already up 6-0. And once again, Contreras victimized by bad defense, some of it his own fault. 9 hits in 3 1/3 innings. The infield is in again for Nick Swisher. Swisher's 1 for 2. Count 1-0.
Carrasco part of the White Sox bullpen. The bullpen really has held their own overall for this team. They're second in the American League in ERA. You just saw Carrasco's numbers along with Matt Thornton, who's been lights out for them.
Rodriguez. Matsui will stop at third. It's an RBI single for Swisher, and the Yankees are up 7-0.
Swisher getting a pitch to drive, sinker up in the zone. Look at his eyes looking right down the barrel of the bat. Good hitting, little run to the fastball away, not trying to pull off that baseball. Good approach.
So here's Cano, who was 2 for 2 against Contreras. Dribbled slowly towards second. They get one. Cano will reach on the fielder's choice. Scoring is Matsui. It's 8-0 Yankees as Cano picks up his 69th run batted in.
Hey, you look at the score so early, Michael. 4 in the second, 4 now, and of the 8 runs, none of the runs have been scored on a home run. Little small ball early on, moving the runner over, and nice line drive approach so far for the Yankees.
Jerry Hairston Jr., the 8th Yankee to come to the plate. 1-0. Sergio Mitre, who was really dealing, now has a long wait on the bench, but he'll trade the long wait in for the extra 4 runs. There's the strike.
You betcha, Michael.
Although we have seen it affect pitchers adversely. A long rest on the bench, they get out of sync. Broken back, ground ball up the middle. Ramirez steps on the bag, and that will do it. But the Yankees get 4 runs on 4 hits, 2 errors, and 1 man left on base. We played 4 full at the stadium, all Yankees. The first city leads the second city by 8. League on the Lexus scoreboard, 8-0. The Yankees over the White Sox, and Sergio Mitre 12 up, 12 down through 4 innings. He really has been outstanding. And between innings, Jorge Posada was warming him up, so giving that sore left hand a little bit of a workout. Didn't catch it all yesterday.
That's a good sign there, Michael. If it's really sore, obviously you wouldn't even want to do that.
Well, he's hoping to play tomorrow with Jabba on the mound. with the announcement yesterday that the Java rules have been rearranged again, where Java will stay in rotation and start every 5 days the rest of the way, they'll just shorten his outings. It probably bodes well for Mitre, because by resting Java, sometimes Mitre would start, then Godin would start. Now it looks like it's going to be Mitre the rest of the way as the number 5 starter, and Godin might spot every now and then, but mostly he's going to pitch out of the bullpen. The 2-1.
And you have the September call-up luxury of bringing up a few more arms, and that'll be some mix and match. Well, I like it, Michael. I was, as a starting pitcher, very much of a creature of habit, and I think the inconsistency of Java not knowing exactly, is it going to be 6 days, 7 days, 8 days, put him on the 5-day like everybody else. And if it's a matter of limiting his innings based on all the rules and the things that were well talked about, I think it's better for him mentally.
You never know how long they're going to go with Java. We've mentioned that, so kind of important for Mitre to give them some length before the rosters get expanded. Oh, nice play by A-Rod. Gets to his feet, and he gets Konerko. Put a star on that one. That is a great play by Alex Rodriguez, taking an extra base hit away from Konerko.
Alex had a similar play last night, knocking the ball down. Didn't make the play, but he was able to keep it in the infield. Going to his right, knowing the runner, Konerko, not very fast. This was good lateral movement, a hot corner for a reason. Nice play by Alex.
There's Jim Thome. And a strike. Hit sharply and past Teixeira and down the right field line. Playing it out there is Swisher, and Thome is on second with a double. That was a hot shot, and Teixeira, who feels the position as well as anybody, just couldn't even stop it. So that breaks the string of 13 in a row retired, and the crowd gives Mitre a hand.
Well, you said it. This is a hot smash, and as good as Teixeira is, that just trying to not get hurt here, getting close enough, and then they see the high hop to it. You do a hot smash like that, you want to make sure you keep your face out of it and line it up to basically scoop it in a way to come up with a big one. He didn't.
A lot of people don't realize, Al, because they look at you now and say, wow, what a good-looking guy, but you actually got smashed in the face with a baseball, didn't you?
Oh.
There's a ground ball to second base. Cano is there.
Twice.
Talk about the one in the minors.
In the minor leagues with the Yankees in Columbus, running in center field. When you watch before a game, there's pitchers that are running the outfield, and the pitching coach will throw the ball. I'm running straight away. Remember Rich Bordy?
Yeah.
He was playing center field. He's looking at me, and Kenny Rowe was the pitching coach. And Dave, straight away center, I'm running ready to catch the ball that he's throwing, and the ball off the bat. Roberto Kelly hit me right in the face on the run. You talk about unlucky. Think of that, 400 feet away, running, albeit I don't run very fast. And the timing of it perfectly to hit me right in the face.
Did you cry?
No. Broke my nose.
You didn't cry?
I didn't cry.
There's no crying in baseball.
Right.
And the other time you got hit with a comeback, all right?
Alex Gonzalez. That was scary. That hit me actually almost near my temple. I was in spring training. I was with the Mets, and Alex Gonzalez was at the Marlins. It's just rocket right back at me. Couldn't get the glove up in time.
And where'd the ball carry him to?
I think it carried him out of the stadium. I got a hard hit.
Ground ball is short. Jeter's there. And Mitre still has his shutout. He's lost his perfect game in a no-hitter. No runs a hit. No errors, and one man left. We're halfway through. It's 8-0 Yankees, and don't worry, Leiter's okay. Coffee. Yes, we get our Green Mountain K-Cup coffee system from the same people who bring us our office supplies. W.B. Mason, who but? Well, we go to the bottom of the 5th inning. And that hat not quite needed because the rain is held up. And the Lexus scoreboard shows the Yankees with an 8-0 lead. That hat would look good on you, huh?
It's cool. It looks a little Brad Pittish.
Brad Pittish.
Did he wear like cool hats, Brad?
Well, once he wears them, they're considered cool.
That's good. Gilligan.
The skipper, too.
Tell that would be the skipper.
The millionaire and his wife. Popped up. Going to be a tough play. Right field. And it lands foul. Dye couldn't get there. This copyrighted telecast is presented by authority of the New York Yankees. It may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. And the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the aforementioned New York Yankees.
So much for weather reports, huh? I thought today was going to be a monsoon.
Popped up. And Konerko makes the play.
I didn't just jinx this, did I?
Well, we see umbrellas pop up, maybe. But you're right. I mean, all the weather reports at the beginning of the week, they made it sound like they were going to be pairing off animals today. Slice foul. Jeter staring into the stand, see if everybody's okay.
Oh boy, I think they grazed him.
So dangerous, have to stay alert, no seats. That's a hot shot up the middle. Derek with his 3rd hit of the afternoon. He is just on fire. His 18th 3-hit game of the season.
Well, now only 14 away from the great Lou Gehrig.
No, 13 to tie.
13 to tie. Little slider. DJ Carrasco left it up enough. And I don't know. I've seen Derek Jeter this locked in for this long. He's had certainly great stretches, but this has been consistent all year long.
Damon's pretty locked in. I think 290. Damon 1 home run away from his career high. And in this ballpark, he's changed this year the way he hits. Any kind of breaking ball, he's going to try to hook it to right field. And he'll take the fastball and drive it to left. And he's got it down. He's got the perfect swing for this place. That one's grounded back to Carrasco. There's one. On to first. It's a double play. And that will do it here in the 5th. No runs a hit, no errors. And because of the DP, nobody left on base. Turned quickly by Ramirez. The return throw to first. We go to the 6th. city of New York. Wednesday night, the Emmy-winning series Yankeeography profiles the architect of the modern Yankees dynasty, the boss, George Steinbrenner. Don't miss this special 90-minute premiere with limited commercial interruption, brought to you by Chevy and Bigelow Tea. Wednesday night at 11, only on Yes. And there's a strike to Ramirez as we go to the 6th inning. 8-0 Yankees.
Nice comfortable spot for Sergio Mitre. Just make his pitches and get outs. Good slider. His sinker is in that downward trajectory. I mean, if you think of Chin Ming Wang, you know, when you get this little bit of his trouble, it would sail in on the hands of the righty. But in this game here, Sergio Mitre with that sinker slider combo has been very good.
Well, Joe Girardi said before the game, I'd like to get 7 innings out of him. Kim Jones asked him, what do you expect out of him? He said, I'd like to get 7. He hasn't gotten 7 in any of his starts, but boy, he's pitching that way right now. Ground ball to third. 1 away.
Boy, that's economical. Michael, 62 pitches here in the 6th inning. That's fantastic.
Look at the 8-pitch inning, 11. For the first inning was his most stressful inning. 62 pitches in 6 innings is just outstanding.
And that's been the bugaboo for him. First inning, opponents have scored in the first inning 5 of the 6 starts. It's a good start.
Here's Jason Nix. Throwing strikes, working quickly. And I guess the 8 days rest actually did him good.
It's been about a little over a year since the Tommy John elbow surgery. You know, and really, I mean, obviously pitchers in different ways of how they work and, you know, how severe the Tommy John surgery was, but it's always been that 12 to 18 month period. There's a good boring sinking fastball on Nix's hands. And I always thought it was really more of 18 months where whatever the guy was before, stuff-wise and health-wise, it's about an 18-month window. There are pitchers, as Mitre is one of them, that comes back about the year mark.
The 1-2. Chopped over the middle and grabbed there by Cano. Off balance. Throw, got him! Beautiful play by Cano.
Beautiful off the bat here. We thought it had enough. Right over the mound. Now, Robbie, what's so special about this, he's running to left field and makes the accurate, strong throw. That is not easy to do. One, getting to it was impressive enough, but this strong throw run away from a decent runner in Nix shows you the arm strength. Look at the ball. He almost like flicked it backwards to get enough on it to share a nice play. Wow.
What a lift for a pitcher to have a play like that made behind him. And this one much easier off the bat of Posegnik. And that will do it. And Mitre completes 6 innings for the first time since August 25th, 2007. A sparkler by Melky Cabrera. Earlier by A-Rod, this one by Cano, should I say. And it's the bottom of the 6th, 8-0 Yanks. By your tri-state area Audi dealers. Audi, the official luxury vehicle of the New York Yankees. New third baseman for the White Sox, Jason Nix, moves from second to third. Trying to find out who's that second now.
Brent Lillibridge.
Now we know. Count 3-0 to Teixeira. Teixeira's happy to see Contreras out of there. 0 for 3 against Contreras. DJ Carrasco took over in the 4th inning. And Teixeira, a 4-pitch walk. Time for another look at today's Toyota text poll. Once again, the question: do you think Scott Kazmir's trade to the Angels means the Rays have given up on their season? You've been voting at 58.772. Here's how you voted. I disagree. I don't think they gave up on their season. I think they're taking a gamble. But 74% think that he actually did give up on the season.
Wow, that's a big percentage.
Driven down the right field line. It's a gamble. It's going to be interesting to see how it's accepted by however many fans the Rays have.
Well, again, I think it's a matter of looking within their minor leagues and figuring out if there's somebody that they think could come close to what Scott Kazmir can do in the 5+ starts that are left for a major league pitcher. We can see that, but I just can't imagine a team that went to the World Series last year, only 4.5 games back, is giving up on their season.
The 0-2.
Check that little boy.
One thing that the players really do worry about. Jeter actually had somebody check to see if the kid was okay on the line driving to the stands, and batters just hate to see that. And they're trying to stay locked in. All of a sudden they're worried. Gee, I wonder if everybody's okay. The 0-2.
Yeah, pay attention. I know some of these great seats in all the stadiums around baseball, you're exposed. You gotta watch home plate, see what's going on with the hitter.
Drops down, and A-Rod pops it up. Rios is there. 1 out.
What's your take, Michael, on the comfort level of what the feeling around the Yankees? Obviously, with the 6-game lead, it's never over till it's over, but it definitely has the feel of being able to get guys adequate rest along the bullpen and anybody else who's feeling aches and pains.
I think there's a feeling of being comfortable but not overconfident, and I think that Jeter drives that home. He said we haven't won anything yet, and he's right. 6 is a nice lead, but it's certainly not insurmountable. But you see that Girardi is managing a little bit differently. Didn't go with Phil Hughes 2 innings yesterday. Didn't go with Mariano 2 innings, and they both had economical innings. Did not choose to go to Jorge Posada. So these games were must-win games, and the Yankees were trying to play catch-up. I think they'd be playing a bit differently, but they certainly aren't complacent.
Wasn't there one of the years when the Yankees had such the big lead where they were able to get guys considerable rest, and then they did struggle in the first round because of it?
There's a base hit to center field.
I mean, there's that element too, where you still got to have everybody sharp. And you're right. What Derek Jeter said is exactly right. 6-game lead is certainly not insurmountable. And you got to, that's the whole mindset of Derek Jeter and a champion, is where you just play every pitch, every at bat, and think of it as this moment.
Also, Al, there's a balance. You know, if all of a sudden you pull the plug and you're not playing the game that you would play when you're trying to win the game, and then when it's a must-win, well, it's hard to shift back into gear again. So you don't want to go too far away from how you played to get to this point. So you want to get you guys rest, but you don't want them to be over-rested.
You know, in a lot of ways, Michael, I think with teams that are wild card battling right to the end, you see the success of some of these teams in the postseason end up being eventual world champions because of that. They've been playing playoff baseball, those teams, you know, for certainly the last 4, 5, 6 weeks of the season.
Every game they play is a playoff game.
Every game they play, that's right. But I think if you talk to any manager, they would prefer to have a little bit of a breathing room. There's a certain degree of mental exhaustion when that happens as well.
Now, let's take a look at one thing. I mean, we said the Yankees have a 6-game lead. Well, Boston's in the lead in the wild card, and the next closest for sure is Texas, 2.5 games out. So the Yankees technically have an 8.5 game lead to a playoff spot, and there certainly isn't enough of a detriment to wild card teams that would be a terrible way to get into the playoffs. Yankees want to win the East and want to have the best record and have home field right throughout, but there are other ways to get into the playoffs, and that's the wild card standings right now. Red Sox lead 1-2. Swisher goes down swinging. He's 2 for 4 today. Fans celebrate the inaugural season of Yankee Stadium on Wednesday, September 9th, when the Yankees take on the Rays. The first 18,000 fans in attendance will receive an inaugural season Snoopy Yankees doll, courtesy of MetLife. For tickets, log on to Yankees.com, visit the Yankee Stadium ticket window, Yankees clubhouse shops, or you can call Ticketmaster at 877-469-9849. Here's Cano. He is 2 for 3 with a ribby and a run scored. And there's a strike. Teixeira walked to open the inning. Matsui's at first. His 6th multiple hit game in his last 10 games. Matsui 2 for 4 today.
You know, another part of it, watching the Yankee season this year, and I just haven't played against them mostly. I'm watching them across town. You know, I can't think of many other teams during that championship run that look as solid, complete. I mean, we could pick apart a few areas if you want, but what I'm impressed with is that these late last inning heroics of wins. I mean, that's the element of just knowing you can come back and beat anybody last at bat. You see yesterday, Cano with the 12th win, walk-off win. You know, that's an element of playoff kind of mentality, as opposed to just beating the brains out of teams and just blowing them out and winning that way. You know, they're winning heroic games, several, the 80 games, 12 of them last at bat.
And of the 43 wins at home, 12 of them lasted. You know, walk-off wins have to be at home. Now, there was a little bit of a misinterpretation yesterday. You know, I said 11 walk-off wins. They are counting the drop pop-up by Castillo of the Mets, so that's why it comes out to 12. You'll hear different numbers from different people, but the official number is, in fact, 12 walk-off wins that they've had. The 2-2.
Well, 12 walk-off wins, 11 walk-off hits, even though the Castillo was an error. You know, I guess that's where there could be the confusion.
So the runners will go 3-2, 2 outs. That one is laced into left center field. It is a base hit. Teixeira scores. Matsui will move to third. Cano stops at first with an RBI single. It's 9-0 Yankees. Third hit for Cano, and he now has 70 runs batted in.
Well, Robinson Cano has a lot to smile about, and he does it often. What a year he's having. Certainly coming off of last night's win. The home run just gets a little, look like cut fastball in on the hands. See the grip coming out of his hand. And Carrasco trying to cut that ball on the inside part of the plate. Robbie is locked in like many of these Yankee hitters. You see Robinson Cano going to left center field. You know he's feeling good about what he's doing up there.
He always seems to be having a good time, and when you can hit like that. Give him to center field. Rios is there, and he'll put it away for the final out of the 6th. But the Yankees get a run on 2 hits, no errors, and 2 men left on base. Let's take this baby to the 7th. All Yankees, 9-0.
Season of analysis and commentary from the Yes Network pros for a first look at the Jets and Giants and a complete preview of the 2009 campaign. Don't miss the season premiere of This Week in Football, presented by Geico. Friday night at 11 o'clock, only on Yes.
They're here again. Love those people. I don't know them, but
look at that. Well,
good looking
it
picture,
worked.
Huh?
They're on. Hello.
They probably hate my guts. They just. Here's Brent Lillibridge, his first at bat on the pitch inside. Wonder if anything happened with Beckham that they took him out of the game. The 1-0. There was a stat, you were talking about how the Yankees stick together and win games late, and that's a good sign. They don't just pound people. But there's a stat that just blows me away. The Yankees last night won another game where the game was tied at the end of the 7th inning. They're 14-0 this season in games tied at the end of the 7th inning. And that's the longest streak ever in Major League history to begin a season for any team. And the longest for any American League team at any point during a season. As Lillibridge walks, and what that means to me, it speaks volumes out about the back end of the bullpen, where they're just not giving up runs, and this team never ever gives in. And a tie game at the end of the 7th inning, they feel like they're leading.
Yeah, you're right, and I think much of it. Well, they're the great Mariano Rivera. That would be the end of the game. But what Phil Hughes has brought, the whole bridge aspect. There's Phil Hughes. This is a fun game to be sitting down that bullpen, relax. No, there's some wiggle room. Hopefully there's a nice back on that chair. But you're right, and Phil Hughes, and then everybody was able to fall into place as far as their role, and that's the biggest thing. If you hear any complaint from a reliever, is that I don't know my role. And you can say, well, your role is that when any you go and get in the game, make your pitches and throw up a 0. But these guys, they're creatures of habit, and it's a comfort zone. When that phone rings in the 3rd or 4th inning, 2 or 3 guys know it could be me. The 5th or 6th, there's another 2 guys that know it could be me, and so on, right on down to, of course, the closer, Mariano. And for the most part, Joe Girardi, Dave Allen, they've been able to do that all year.
Knocked down by Mitre, got a piece of him. Let's see if he gets the out. He does. And now we'll see if Mitre's okay. Boy, that looked like it hit him square.
It sounded it, too.
Gene Monahan quickly out to the mound.
Right arm. Ooh. A little above his right elbow, look. Right on the elbow.
Presence of mind to scramble after it and make the throw. And Mitre's insisting he's okay, and now they're going to take the ball from him. Joe Girardi's going to go to the bullpen, and Mitre gets a huge hand. That's his best performance as a Yankee. Easily his best performance. 6 1/3 sparkling innings. He allowed just 1 hit. So he steps aside. So do we. The Yankees will go to the bullpen. The reliever will have all the time to warm up. From the creator of Office Space in theaters September 4th, and by Turkey Hill, the official ice cream of the New York Yankees. Well, tough blow for Sergio Mitre, Al. Obviously, it looked like it's swelling already. Got him like on the side, just below the elbow. And he was pitching his best game easily as a Yankee. And again, literally a tough blow for him on the comebacker by A.J. Brzezinski.
Well, you're right about that. Easily, yeah, absolutely. And he was making it look easy. 73 pitches. Hopefully that didn't get him flush on the bone area. Hopefully it was a meaty part of the elbow.
Well, his best performance, short-circuited right there, away from the TV on game night. Don't worry. Now Yankee fans can watch live Yes Network games on their PCs and laptops. If you're an Optimum Online and IOTV customer who watches Yes, go to YesNetwork.com to get more information and sign up for your subscription now. So Chad Gaudin's going to have as much time as he needs to warm up. Chad, though, has worked out of the bullpen, so he's not going to need that much time to see his numbers. 24 games, 5-10 record. Now the Yankees as a team, they're not on the field. There's no team behind Chad Gaudin. I guess they went into the dugout to take a seat as Gaudin takes all the time that he needs. I don't know if the outfielders went into the dugout. They might have gone into the bullpen. But Derek sitting on the bench there.
Well, you mentioned Chad Gaudin. He was a starter with the Padres before coming over. I think 18 to 19 his appearances. So it will take him a little bit longer traditionally than Yeah, there's Johnny Damon out there with Mariano.
Don't know where Swisher is, or Jerry Hairston Jr. But there's Jerry Hairston.
Third catcher.
And he's also playing center field. So some chill time in a game that the Yankees were winning 9-0. And we found Nick Swisher out there as well. So the outfielders in the bullpen. Well, today and throughout the Yankee season on Yes, we're allowing you to vote along with the two of us here in the booth for the Chevy Player of the Game. Text your vote to 58772. And today's candidates are number 1, Sergio Mitre, number 2, Jerry Hairston Jr., number 3, Derek Jeter, and number 4, Robinson Cano. You can vote now, make your voice heard. Standard text messaging rates apply. Well, the Yankees have a game tomorrow, and that will end their homestand, and then they'll go on the road again. 3 games in Baltimore and 4 in Toronto. They have one more West Coast trip remaining. They go to Seattle and then Anaheim, and that'll be a good test for them because the Angels, last time they faced them in Anaheim, they took 3 in a row, the Angels did. So that'll be a little bit of a litmus test for the Yankees. They might see the Angels again in the playoffs. So they've always had struggles with the Angels, and this could be something that might be a little bit of a preview of a future playoff matchup. And we'll talk about that tomorrow on the W.B. Mason Presents the Joe Girardi Show. Skipper takes a look at next week's AL East matchups, and we'll answer your questions as postseason play gets closer. It's an all-new Joe Girardi Show tomorrow at 5, only on Yes.
I lost track of the warm-ups here. Now, Chad Godin has been throwing for a considerable amount of time, and you mentioned about him being down in the bullpen. Normally, I could tell you, a reliever, a true reliever, they say about 8 or 10, 12 pitches and they're ready, which Godin is not that guy. So Girardi normally would know when Godin is going to pitch. You're going to give him a little more time.
Al, we saw that comebacker, and I'm just amazed that more pitchers don't get hit. It's just serendipity that they don't. I guess the ball misses them. You guys have no time to react. None. No time to react. You're so close.
But you know what, Michael? And I was hit early in my career here off the bat of Brzezinski. While Michael's saying it, look, you throw a baseball 90 miles an hour, you have about 0.4 seconds from the time it releases the hand to the glove. And I can tell you that the bat, off the bat, there's plenty of balls that come out quicker than that. So you have a pitcher through his delivery, as we watch Mitre finish it, trying to get in position. Hopefully your glove is in front of you, at least for protection's sake, protect your head. It is and can be scary, but I'm going to tell you now that if a pitcher thinks about it, you will not be an effective pitcher. You cannot think about the possibility of getting hit.
And you can see it actually broke the skin a little bit there as well.
I had a little bit of, when I with the Yankees when I first came out. I think it was 1988. It was in Oakland, and first bat of the game, Carney Lansford hit me on the forearm, and I couldn't laterally move my hand for about 2 weeks. DL time.
Was that the game where Neil Allen came in and pitched a no-hitter?
Yes, he threw. Yeah, I think he did.
Yeah.
No, I think he gave up 1 hit. He pitched the whole game. Didn't get a complete game out of it because I started the game.
Right.
Terrible. But yeah, and I remember after that, Michael, I had a little bit of that gunshot where you throw it and you're reacting before the ball is thrown. You can't do that.
You almost have to play games with yourself, because if you're being rational out there, you should be gunshot.
Yep.
Because it's 60 feet 6 inches to the plate, and then when you deliver, what would you say? You're 50 feet away?
54.
So it's about a 6-foot stride.
Yeah, about a 6-foot stride. Usually a stride length for a pitcher is about 85%, 90% of your height. That's ideal.
Well, after the last out of this game against Chicago, you have to join Nancy Newman back in the studio for the W.B. Mason postgame. She'll have highlights and analysis from this matchup, and also go around the rest of baseball. And then Kimberly Jones, of course, is going to talk to the team in the clubhouse. You'll hear all about that. It's the W.B. Mason postgame. It's only on Yes. Well, it looks like Godin has finally taken enough warm-ups. And, you know, he's a veteran. And sometimes kids, when they get out there, they rush because they feel, oh my God, you know, there's so many people watching me, and they feel rushed, and they don't get enough warm up. But Chad Godin has got enough.
I wish we would catch. Gosh, did you count, Ryan? I think he had 50 throws there. I really do. He's got to be tired. He should go get a drink of water. He was just pumping it.
That was a long warm-up. That's one of the longest warm-ups I've seen. Now, everybody was relaxing out there. We showed Phil Hughes chilling back on the heels of his on the chair. So no one was expecting to pitch the way Mitre was pitching. It looked like he was on his way to a complete game. So Godin went from a sitting stop to all of a sudden warming up, and he took his time. Here's Paul Konerko. Let's see if all that time worked. 9-0 Yankees, runner at second, 1 out. And there's a strike. See, it worked out.
That was good. You know, you make a good point, because I remember having done that. I forget, but you get out there and everybody's watching you, and everybody's off the field, so they have nothing else to look at. You do feel compelled to say, let me hurry up here and, you know, just get everybody back out. I don't want to make everybody wait any longer.
Good breaking ball whispering across the outside corner, 0-2. Well, you can't ask more from Mitre. 6 1/3 innings, just 1 hit. The double by Tomei that took a hot shot hop over the glove of Teixeira at first. He struck out 2, walked 1. The runner at second base is his responsibility. His best game is the Yankee. The 0-2. 1-2.
Easily, Michael. That was impressive. We had the 3 up, 3 down through 4 innings, 1 out in the 5th when Tomei got the double. In command.
High drive, left field. Johnny Damon does a little dance before he makes the play for the second out. Johnny never makes it pretty out there, but for the most part, he gets it done.
He does. And I think initially off the bat, especially with Konerko, big swing, it looked like he just got it off the, not the label, but he obviously did get off the barrel of the bat. And I think Johnny thought it was going to be driven a lot further.
Here's Jim Tomei. Fouls it back.
Boy, you look at the White Sox, and they're in a spot here. They really need this to have a good road trip. Haven't so far. Position of trying to chase the Tigers in that always tough Central. Dropping back now, 1 game under 500. See how much Jake Peavy will help when he's inserted in the rotation. Just haven't gotten enough consistent offense.
One. Back goes flying. Right about where Derek Jeter's line drive ended up. Looks like everybody's okay. And the guy was most concerned that his pizza didn't get knocked over, if you saw. He held it up. It's here.
Fooled by that changeup slipping out of his hands. A little hammer throw. Look at it.
You know that Kimberly Jones interviewed Jim Tomei today for the pregame show, and he said an amazing thing. He's putting 14 nieces and nephews through college on his dime. And when you said yesterday what a good guy is, that's a pretty good guy.
He really is. Always has kind words for. I have yet to ever see him scowl or have anything bad to say about anybody.
Swing and a miss. So Godin comes on and gets Konerko and strikes out Tomei, and that'll do it here in the 7th. No runs, no hits, no errors, and 1 man left on base. The end of 6 1/2. It's time for the 7th inning stretch. Yankees lead 9-0, but we stay right here to honor America in the Bronx.
Ladies and gentlemen, would you please rise and offer a moment of silent prayer as we remember the servicemen and women who are serving our country home and around the globe. Thank you. Now, will you please join Kate Smith as she sings God Bless America.
Show, as you mentioned, WB Mason postgame. Nancy and Kimberly will join us. Right now in the bottom of the 7th inning, Yankees are leading 9-0. Tony Pena, the third pitcher used by Ozzie Guillen, will take over on the mound. It's been all Yankees. Jose Contreras started, then DJ Carrasco, and now Tony Pena, and those are his numbers. No relation to the Yankees bench coach, Tony Pena. He already has a son named Tony Pena.
Isn't one of them they changing from an infielder to a pitcher?
Yes. Yep. Pena deals, and Molina swings, and skies one to center field. Alex Rios, one away. Starting to rain here at the stadium. A little bit of a drizzle. Kind of got very overcast and kind of misting here at the stadium. Well, the amount of time it took Chad go down to warm up, I'm surprised it didn't start snowing here at the stadium.
Yeah, he wasn't worried about not being ready.
Here's Derek Jeter. He's 3 for 3 with a sac bunt, a stolen base, a run scored. And in the month of August, he's hitting .377. And the crowd chanting Derek Jeter.
First swing of the day looked cool.
Mitre left the game with a right forearm contusion, and x-rays are going to be taken right here at Yankee Stadium. And we'll find out if there's anything more than just a contusion. Contusions are fancy schmancy word for bruise.
Well, that's good. We didn't hit him straight on the elbow. That would have been a bad situation.
The 1-2. Pena throws hard. Count 2-2. High fly ball, right field. Dye is there. 2 outs.
Mentioned Pena, hard thrower from Arizona, and talking about the National League difference. I know this is just a small snippet from it, but he had a good year, 4.24. Well, in the National League wouldn't be considered good, especially as a reliever. They came over here to date as a White Sox. His ERA is 5.0. That 3/4 of a run difference from the National League to the American League.
That got Brzezinski and got him hard. And he takes a playful swing at trying to take it.
He threw dirt, and then Johnny threw dirt back at him.
And Jorge Posada knows the feeling. Let's see where it got him.
Left bicep.
Right back at you. Brzezinski has always seemed to be one of those guys, when he's playing against you, you don't like him at all. He's gotten into some altercations, got into a fight in an interleague game with Michael Barrett of the Chicago Cubs.
Well, his tenure was short-lived in San Francisco as well, and he's a different guy. He's not afraid to say what's on his mind.
Look at this. Bam. I mean, you never see that. And then he just tried to incite the crowd just a bit more. 3-2. And Johnny Damon walks.
You know, some guys just they don't care what they say, and you know they don't think before. You know, hey, what's the ramifications? He had a post-game interview after Contreras, and just kind of just spoke his mind, and you know it was very poignant. But you know, there's just times you just don't do or say certain things that would either protect your guys or make it seem like you're not trying to throw anybody on the bus. And it wasn't anything. You know, he was just talking about how Contreras in Boston, his last start, wasn't effective, and he gave all the reasons why. I heard the interview. I just couldn't believe that he was so direct about it.
Not holding Damon on with a 9-0 lead. Yankee lead. And the 1-1. Line drive right at Konerko for the final out of the set. So Teixeira 0 for 4 with a walk and a run scored today. In the inning, no runs, no hits, no errors. 1 man left. Ozzie looking for answers. His team trails 9-0. 15 minutes can save you 15% on car insurance.
A great play by Alex Rodriguez off a ball. Canerco going to his right in the 5th inning, getting up and making a strong, accurate throw. Geico play of the game. Nice play, Alex Rodriguez.
Some defensive changes for the Yankees as Nick Swisher moves from right to first. Jerry Hairston moves from center to right, and Melky takes over for Hairston in center. Godin deals to Dye. It's a strike. Now, Nick Swisher yesterday had a very important assist. He gunned down Ramon Castro trying to score in the 7th inning. And it was only his 2nd outfield assist. And he said that he has not been playing great center field. He hasn't been throwing as well as he should. And a couple of the guys said, you know, you got more in your arm than you're showing. So he did something that you never hear players really do. He's trying to improve his throwing from the outfield. So he went to Dave Island. He said, who better to go to? He said, this guy's teaching guys to throw all the time, what to do right, what to do wrong, or what not to do wrong. He said, so I went to him and he said, you got to come more over the top and drive through. And he said, I got a better throw off because of it. Pretty shrewd maneuver.
Yeah, completely. And a lot of guys are not insecure, but protective of certainly their deficiencies. But it's excellent. And I know, you know, having played, there are sometimes the outfielders or a guy that's, you know, doesn't have a strong arm. They'll go to other pitchers and play catch and just try to simulate, you know, because pitchers obviously have a different routine and long toss and how much they throw than everyday players.
Dye swings and misses.
I remember Jake Payton. He used to throw kind of like a catcher, just real strong kid and muscly, and he wanted to do the same thing. We play some catch and long toss, and just, you know, just visually when you see a pitcher throw in a certain way when you're playing catch, you can try to emulate it. But that's good that he did that. Yeah, he recognized him. Hey, I should be throwing with better velocity coming out. It's not. What am I doing wrong?
And he also made a really good point. He said there have been some games where Joe Girardi takes me out for defense. He goes, and I want to be in games at the end, and I want to improve my defense. I want to work on that aspect of my game. So that's what he did. And the fruits of his labors paid off with that throw yesterday as Rio swings and misses. Could you throw all the way from the outfield? I mean, did you have that sort of arm? You could.
Your strong arm guys on the team are the ones that can throw the farthest. And I think that's an element of pitching conditioning that has been lost.
They test Melky Cabrera out right away. 2 down.
You know, the long toss just isn't as long, and they don't throw as much.
Let's take a look at Nick Swisher's throw. This one tied the game, but they were trying to go ahead, and a good one-hop throw there. And Molina had plenty of time to transfer the ball with a bare hand and tag out Castro.
Which was the reason why Jeff Cox was aggressive with having Castro was 2 outs, as Michael said. But with the only one outfield assist that Nick Swisher had, they're making him make a good throw, and he did.
And it's hard to play right field and have only one outfield assist going into August 28th, because you're going to have guys go first to third. Balls in the corners, going for a double, so you have a lot of opportunities to gun people out.
Well, you said it. That's a strong arm position because of the first to third aspect. You want your best arm there. And, you know, in left field, Johnny Damon, who has 6 outfield assists, they may run on him because of the scout report of him not having that strong arm as part of his career.
What's the best arm you've ever seen outfield on?
Vladimir Guerrero, Dave Winfield, Jesse Barfield.
Oh, the guy you traded for had a great outfield.
Yeah. Jay Buhner played with Jay through the minor leagues with the Yankees. Great arm. And it's fun to watch. You see a guy with a fantastic arm, you know, the long throw from the warning track or off the ball.
And Ramirez walks. You know what I think is also a problem, Al? And when you came up, they were still doing it. There would be infield practice before the game, and they'd hit balls to the outfield. You had to throw to third. You had to throw home. They don't throw anymore. The outfielders don't come. I mean, they do it in spring training, and once the season starts, you just don't throw anymore. You can't build it up.
I agree. And as a matter of fact, it's funny you mention that, because I was talking to one of the scouts before the White Sox series in Chicago when the Yankees were there, and Ozzie Guillen will have a full infield workout, but he does it early, especially first game of each series.
Right.
And there was a scout, and he was there early. I said, "What are you doing?" He said, "I'm gonna watch the infield." And that was a big element. Advanced scouts to come out and see the guys throw. And it used to be right after the home game, right after the visiting team hit. The home team would go out and the visiting team and do a quick infield.
And by infield, the coach would stand at home plate and hit ground balls. Let's say you start with A-Rod. Hit a ground ball to A-Rod. He'd fire across the diamond. Then you'd hit another ground ball A-Rod. He'd go to second. Then I'd hit another ground ball A-Rod. Slow roller. He fires home as he charges in. And they do that to every single infielder and every outfielder before they'd all get in. Garrett knocks it down and goes the short way and takes a base hit away from Jason Nix. No runs, no hits, no errors, and one man left on base. We go to the bottom of the 8th inning here at the stadium. It's all Yankees, 9-0. Derek Jeter gets up, couldn't come down with the ball, but had the presence of mind to stay with it and get the force and the final out at second.
Well, with 2 runners on in the 2nd inning, Jerry Hairston taking a split finger off of Jose Contreras to right center field, scoring Cano and Swisher. Alex Rodriguez then hitting the ball.
Alex deep to right. See ya. First pitch, he goes the other way and picks up a solo home run to give the Yankees a 10-0 lead.
That was fast right away. First pitch, he's jumping on this fastball. He bet he hit it right field here at Yankee Stadium. Staying on this ball, traveling far enough to get in those right field seats. 23rd home run of the year.
Eric Hinsky pinch hitting for Matsui, fouls it back. That's A-Rod's first home run against a team other than the Red Sox since July 19th. This is 576 as he creeps up on Mark McGwire, just 7 away and 10 away from Frank Robinson. I look at this ballpark, Al, and I look at Alex Rodriguez. Now, Alex Rodriguez, I still don't think is 100% the way he's going to be next year. You know, he's still feeling his way, coming back from that hip surgery. His swing and his ability to hit the ball to right field, this ballpark, if it doesn't change the way it plays, he can hit a load of home runs out to right field. He can pad his home run totals. If he would hit 40, it would be 50 because there's a lot of home runs out there for him.
You're right, and not only for him, and you're exactly right, Michael. He's got that I think it's his best swing. What we just saw there, that right center approach. But Johnny Damon, of his 23-17 here at the stadium, and certainly what Teixeira is going to enjoy. Historically, right field has always been the short porch at Yankee Stadium, the old, and now here.
Now, when I say you don't know how the ballpark is going to continue to play, because there's a lot of conjecture when the old ballpark comes down, wind currents will change. We have no idea. But the way it plays this year, if Alex Rodriguez was healthy from the beginning, I think his home run totals would be really, really high, simply because his swing is that way. He hits a lot of fly balls that way. Here's Nick Swisher.
Derek Jeter doesn't have obviously the same power as Alex Rodriguez, but he's got the same swing or swaying approach. His 17 home runs for Derek.
This is the Yankees' 17th game with 10 or more runs this season, and incidentally, each starter in the Yankee lineup has scored a run. So before A-Rod hit that home run, all 9 were spread out evenly. Each guy with 1 run scored. Now A-Rod has 2. Good day for hitting coach Kevin Long.
You know, and Kevin Long, he gets enough credit, but I don't think he gets really what's going on behind the scenes, and he's consistent.
Rios runs down Swisher's line.
And what I mean by that, whether the guys are struggling or not, extremely positive guy. He was a minor leaguer for several years at the University of Arizona and gets it, realizes how difficult it is. But if you talk about a hard-working coach, Kevin Long is it, and he's a positive guy. Every aspect of, he'll even say, well, what about this? Yeah, I know he's struggling, but did you see that last swing in his 3rd at bat? I mean, that kind of stuff, very precise. He's almost there. He's, and it's constantly that reiteration of being positive and pumping your guys up. I think that's a big part of it.
Cano takes pitch outside. Robinson today 3 for 4. Double in the 2nd, single in the 3rd, a fielder's choice grounder in the 4th, and another single in the 6th. Month of August, Robinson hitting .349, overall hitting .316. Been a good month for the Yankees the month of August. They continue to win. They win series. That's why when they lost the series to Texas, people were startled. First series loss here at home since June when they lost to the Nationals 2 out of 3.
It's a long season. I always get a kick of it. Now it's getting to a point where Derek Jeter enjoying his time off. But the 162 games, it really is about every game in every series. Yeah, there comes a point where you have a little bit of breathing room, and then guys become relaxed, and consequently you start playing better. You're not pressing and thinking negative thoughts.
Tomorrow the Yankees will try to continue this. Yankees against the White Sox. The BP show starts at noon here on Yes. 12:30 is our pregame, and then it's game time right around 1:07. A nice Sunday in New York City. Yankees against the White Sox. It's supposed to be a great day here in the city. The 2-2. Grounded sharply to second. And Lillibridge puts it away for the final out. But the Yankees get a run. How do they get it? Alex Rodriguez jumped on the first pitch and drove it to right field. Right over the artillery scoreboard. His 23rd home run. His 70th ribby. A 10-0 Yankee lead. The White Sox will try to get back in this. A couple of defensive changes. Hinsky takes over in right, and Jerry Hairston Jr. moves to short, so he's played 3 positions. Derek Jeter has the rest of the day off. Yankees lose their DH because Hinsky pinch hit for the DH Matsui. And there's a strike from Godin. That means that the pitcher Godin will be hitting in Derek Jeter's spot in the lineup. Lead off. Pitch outside. Although the Yankees have exploded for 10 runs today, the story of this game was Sergio Mitre and how beautifully he pitched. His best performance as a Yankee. Literally got knocked out of the game in the 7th inning with 1 out. A comebacker off the bat of A.J. Przinsky hit him just above the right elbow. Would you say that's above? No, I guess right below on the side, right near his forearm. And he has a contusion. They took him out of the game right away, but boy, did he pitch well, just allowing 1 hit and 1 walk. 1-2. 2-2. Now the Yankees win today. In the second half of the season, they were 30-11. Now, if you want to compare it to their best season ever, win-wise, 114 wins for the Yankees in '98. They were 53-28 in the second half. So Posednik down looking. Time to announce the Chevy Player of the Game is voted on by you, the fans, and the 2 of us here in the booth. This one's easy, Al.
Yes, it is. You just mentioned Sergio Mitre, hands down his best start as a Yankee. He was on with his sinker, was early. He was throwing strikes. Only 73 pitches there until A.J. Przinsky hit him in the 7th inning. He was able to still get him out, which is a good feeling as a pitcher. You get hit. But what a performance for Sergio Mitre.
There's Brent Lillibridge. Count 1-0. Brent looks very young. Backhanded by Hairston, off balance throw. And Swisher tries to make the swipe tag, and then he goes back and tags Lillibridge, who missed the bag. Heads up play by Nick Swisher.
But also good, very good play here. Hairston going all the way to his right, being able to come up with that ball. Lillibridge, a good runner. Hairston getting the ball off. Now watch here. He eludes the tag, but he wasn't able to get his foot on the bag. First base umpire Tim Timmons gestured that he did not tag him, but he was able to get him out after. A back running away throw. You know, I thought he gestured that he was off the bag, but it looked like he called safe initially.
Well, he didn't touch the bag, so that's why it's just scored a 6-3. Here's Ramon Castro, 2 count on him, 1 strike away. Castro took over for Przinsky behind the plate the previous inning. Remember, Przinsky got hit on the left forearm with a Johnny Damon foul tip. Crowd of 46,193 looking for the final out. And they get it as the Yankees win and dominate 10-0. And the Yankees win their 81st game, and they've reached a high water mark of 33 games over 500. Great relief pitching by Chad Godin. He took over for the injured Sergio Mitre. The Yankees at 80.